the older we get, I mean, I'm be turning 31 in end of the 1st of May. So there's not really a lot of time to be playing anymore like you did in your 20s. In your 20s, it's nice to play and have fun and do all that stuff. But the older you get, like I'm more focused on what is the return on investment on the type of things that I'm doing. And how am I gonna benefit from doing this? What up, beautiful people? My name is Bonankau, and I'm with. What up, beautiful people? My name is Dudu Tankau, aka the handsome twin. Yeah, right. But yeah, guys, today's episode 2 of Kenny Podcast. We're just gonna speak about challenges, maneuvering through life, challenges in business, not just business, but personal challenges, things we experience as people, yeah, some of those things. Yeah, so some of the challenges we've faced a lot of challenges. But in business, what I can say is that you're going to face a lot of challenges, especially financially. As an entrepreneur, most of the challenges you face are financial challenges, where, for example, we've had situations where we couldn't pay rent for our shop, when we were starting out in our business, and we'd get times where we couldn't afford to pay rent and pay employees and pay all the material that you need. So just some of those challenges are very draining, and you need to find a way to obviously maneuver around these challenges. You need to find a way to keep going, even when you have difficult things like that. Because what I can tell you, especially for a lot of brand owners who have stores and things like that, we faced a lot of challenges where you couldn't pay the rent, where your brand you didn't make the money in the month to pay the rent, and it becomes a problem. So people don't talk about things like that because in most cases you see brands successful or you see people successful, but there's like a lot of challenges people have faced. Yeah, not even just financial challenges. I think one of the biggest challenges as humans that we go through is mental challenges. Mental health. Like, what are some of the things that you say to yourself? When things are going wrong, when your life is not going the way you thought it should go. Financially, physically. What are some of the things that you keep repeating to yourself? So those are some of the challenges that we have to overcome. Like the things we say to ourselves. Like, what do you keep saying to yourself that is gonna make you the person that you are today? So we have to maneuver through some of these challenges, guys, and it's not easy because sometimes social media makes life look like everything is okay, but everybody in this life is going through some challenges, and some of these challenges they are way beyond what we see on social media. So we just have to maneuver like our mental health, our financial health, some of these things. Yeah, so for me, it's like a big part of growing as a person and as a business person or whatever the case may be. It's being able to maneuver through the challenges. With some people, you let those things bring you down. You let the fact that you couldn't pay rent. Like I'm gonna keep going back to this because it's something that's on top of my mind. I mean, we had a situation where we couldn't pay the rent, and the landlord came to close the shop. And with him closing the shop, we have things like orders tabato that we still have to finish. You have to tell your employees that, and it becomes like frustrating and becomes challenging. So it's just about being able to maneuver and like understand that these type of challenges are made to make you better. They are made not to break you, but to find out, okay, how do I go about maneuvering this sort of situation to come out better? Like he said, mental health. A lot of guys especially go through things like that where you're just always in your mind by yourself and trying to figure out, how am I gonna get through this? How am I gonna do this? But there's many ways to get through things, and there's many platforms or places, even not physical people, that you could, for example, you could go watch a YouTube video about someone who's dealt with something that you're going through and how they overcame that. So there's so many ways to overcome things without feeling sorry for yourself, without feeling like a victim. Yes, crushing you. Yeah, we all have those moments where you feel like, why is this happening to me? And I've been what? I've been working hard and I've been faithful and I've been doing this, but it comes around for all of us. Yeah, even like not just entrepreneurship, but challenges that we also don't speak about a lot as people is family challenges. Yeah. Because there's certain things that you'd wanna do, but your mom or your dad or your aunt or your granny, whoever it may be, will be like, nah, this is not gonna work. So sometimes people are conflicted because they're not really doing what they really want to do, and then it also affects their well-being, because that person feels like, I should be a chef, I should be cooking, but at home they like, go study engineering or go be like, especially with black families, we have this thing of prominent careers, your engineering, your accounting, law. Those are some of the prominent careers that, like, if you do those, then people automatically say, yeah, this person's going to be successful. But some of these careers people don't really see like that, like your photography. I mean, like, now people are podcasting, people are making millions of podcasting. But imagine going home and saying to your family that I want to be a podcaster. Like, how do they respond to that? So family challenges are also what kind of sets people back, because, not guys, the reality is not everybody has to go to school. I know some people will disagree, but the world has changed in such a way that you have to be a problem solver. We're speaking about challenges today, but as a person, if you are a problem solver, then you're gonna make money. You're gonna find a way to always maneuver through these things that are trying to hold you down. So that's some of the way the mental healthness aspect of it has to be. Like, can you be a person that solves problems? Like, if something happens now, there is a state where you can panic and feel bad and like, yo, how am I gonna do this? But can you solve the problem, or can you call somebody who can help you solve the problem? And that's some of the ways that we have to maneuver through these challenges.
And like going back to what he said about, family having this thing of maybe your mom or your grandfather or whoever in your family is telling you, no, go study to be an engineer or an accountant or whatever. I feel like that was very great for their time, because it was they relied on that a lot, on going to school, on having a safety net, on having, that was back then, that was the mentality. But with today's world, you have people on TikTok who are making money, more money than someone who's been working at a specific job for the past 40 years. So there's you have to do a lot of research in terms of the opportunities you can get within that specific field. And today I was at a business conference, and this guy was talking about one of the challenges, or the tricky things with black people is, for example, you own a company that that cleans. Like, you come into maybe a workspace and you clean, but you need to look beyond just cleaning the workspace. You need to look at supplying the products that you clean with, or venturing, or expanding the company into cleaning products also, and expanding the company. Yeah, you just have to work towards adding. Like, don't just stay stagnant and say, this is what I'm doing and this is it. Like, you need to find ways to monetize through what you're doing. I mean, we have a clothing brand, but we also provide a clothing manufacturing and printing services to other companies and other brands. So that in its own way is another revenue stream for the business. So you need to focus on doing things like that, because there comes a time where maybe the sales, maybe in the clothing brand, are not so high. So you need something else to rely on. But if you get to a point where you just rely on one specific thing, that's where people get into trouble, and where people, feel conflicted that this thing is not working and whatnot, because you're just focusing on doing one thing. But within that one thing, you could add other services.
Yeah, we have to be like problem solvers, guys. The world has changed today. You kind of don't have to limit yourself to doing one thing, but also you don't want to be a jack of all trades. Trying to do this and this and this and this. So sometimes it's all about, how do we expand ourselves? How do we grow? For example, if you're a DJ, like, evolve into hosting gigs, evolve into producing. There's certain ways that we have to evolve, and these things that we're speaking about, they all come back to the mental challenges we spoke about, the financial challenges. You have to kind of find a way to maneuver through what's happening right now. Don't be stagnant, because the world is changing. We don't know. I mean, now we've got this thing called AI, which is dominating. It's coming in. A lot of people haven't really grasped it, but it's dominating. So you kind of have to be in it now. You kind of have to understand, where is AI going, so that you're not really affected negatively. You kind of in the loop, like, what's happening, and you kind of know, okay, this is how I can take advantage of it. So in life, you just have to be a problem solver. Like, just maneuver through your challenges. Don't let things break you down. I mean, like, with me and my brother, we both went to university, but I dropped out of school. But you can imagine how the family was. My older brother also finished school, so I'm the only one who dropped out of school. So in a way, they kind of label you as the one that is not gonna make it, the one that has failed. But I really wanted to do what I wanted to do. I didn't really want to go that route, education, and yeah, because I was at school also studying, but I didn't feel like I belonged there. You know what I mean? So that was a challenge for me, where I felt stuck in my life. I didn't know, like, do I follow through with this or do I go through with this? Obviously, not ignoring the sacrifices that somebody has made for you to be there. But yeah, the world has changed, man. So you just have to come out of that situation, come out better, like find a way. Because even when I decided to drop out of school, I just focused more on reading books. I was on YouTube, self-education also, because if you say you're gonna drop out of school and then you don't do anything really productive, because if you drop out of school, your family is kind of like, okay, what's happening? This thing of yours also, it still needs time to gain traction. So
And it takes time.
it takes time for this thing. I mean, like, you can't do something today and automatically expect it's gonna blow. You need some traction. You need people's feedback. You need people to see. You need to maneuver through those mistakes. Yeah.
And I feel as if with people also now we don't put in enough effort. We need to put in more effort. Like with whatever you're doing, you must try and I'm going back to my point, you must try and maximize. Like put in more effort in that thing so that it can give you more rewards. Sometimes you get so comfortable doing something and you just give the bare minimum. And if you look at a lot of people who do have jobs, some people just go to jobs just to give enough effort where they don't get fired. But people who truly excel in life are people who put in more effort. Like for example, as a soccer player, if you look at someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, he speaks about how he's the first one at training and the last one to leave. And by the time the other guys have left, he's already training other things. He's perfecting your free kick, he's perfecting the penalties. So people like that, people who put in more effort, it doesn't pay now, but it will pay later. The whole thing of you reap what you sow.
Yeah, compound
is
effect.
so important, because even things you do today are going to affect you later in life, and you're going to earn and make money based off of the work that you put in today. You know what I mean? In the future.
Yeah. I mean, like, for young people right now, we've got so much opportunities right in front of us. Sometimes we're just looking at only one thing. So as young people, also, we just have to put ourselves in spaces and places where we can evolve, and become better. Because one thing I've seen with us young people, let's just say Chris Brown is coming, or this person's coming to South Africa, or this event is happening, we'll go like
Effort.
we put in so much effort. We do go out of our way, ask this person, talk to this one, hey, please get me tickets, whatever it is, just so you can make it to go to this entertainment thing. But when you have to apply the same thing to your own life and to your own dreams, then it's like, nah, the government doesn't want to help us, or nah, my mom is on my case, or nah, this and this and this. So we need to also evolve and just be like put in that much effort into your own things as you do into these things that are not really going to pay you, like, your own things are going to pay you.
Yeah, and I feel like obviously the older you grow, I mean, a lot of the things that you do need to have a return on investment, like what he said. Like people put in so much time and effort into other people's things. Like to say Travis Scott is coming to South Africa, ticket is 1.5.
Crazy.
What? There's people are gonna make sure they get there. But if you say for your business, maybe there's a conference or something where you can go learn and the ticket is 1.5. You look at it like 1.5. Why is the guy charging so much money? But the information, the return on investment you're going to get from that, as opposed to that, is very different.
Yeah.
So the older we get, I mean, I'm turning 31 in end of the 1st of May. So there's not really a lot of time to be playing anymore like you did in your 20s. When you're in your 20s, it's nice to play and have fun and do all that stuff. But the older you get, like I'm more focused on what is the return on investment on the type of things that I'm doing. And how am I gonna benefit from doing this? Like sometimes we do things that are like meaningless, and I'm not saying we must all be perfect and robots and
Yeah.
do all
Sometimes
this.
you just get home and you just want to Netflix.
Sometimes you wanna. We all have that time, but
play
you cannot be
FIFA or whatever it is.
Netflixing every day, and you're chilling, and and you're complaining about, hey, I'm broke or whatever. But how much effort are you putting in? How many hours are you putting in? Do you wake up earlier? Maybe if you have to go to work at a certain time, can you wake up maybe 2 hours earlier to research, to read, to
develop,
whatever?
yeah.
So personal development is what is gonna change people's lives, and personal development is also gonna help you to deal with challenges, because you're gonna be much stronger. Like
Yeah.
going back to what we said, challenges are not there to break you. They are meant to just reinforce your strength and your wisdom and your mindset, and just
Yeah, man. So just guys, it's just important for us as young people to be in the game. Let's also create this culture where we encourage each other. Like, dog, I see your potential, or I
Yeah.
see you've got this. Like, obviously, I can't be your dad. I can't be your uncle to tell you what to do because to each his own. You know what I mean? So we really looking to be those people that can also help with wisdom and information according to what we went through. We mentioned some challenges in our previous episode of, they knocked us. We took out so much money for the machines, and we lost. We took out we were like 170,
40%.
140K in debt, and we just carried on. Like, hey man, life goes on. You maneuver. You find a way. You find a way to outlast that and to become better. I think also the friends that we keep. The older you get, you gotta see like, ish, my friends, yeah, some people are not the reality. Some people are not going to the next phase with you, you know, and that's also okay. Some people you just knew them because we're in high school together, or we went to this specific course, or whatever it is. But you gotta be also a little bit more selective about your friends. We
Yeah.
can't always have friends that are like, hey dog, Friday
Social,
aro jaiva, or hey, let's
social
go
friends.
and
Yeah.
groove. You know what I mean? You also need friends that are on some, hey, here's an opportunity. I saw funding or whatever, or uh, whatever it may be. Like we need to also surround ourselves with friends who are going somewhere, because guys, we're not gonna live forever. We might as well enjoy. Let's maximize. Let's live our dreams, man. Everybody has a dream, and it's not like dreams are all materialistic, but it's what is important to you. If I feel like I wanna drive this certain car one day, you might wanna build a house for your mom, or give back to the community, whatever it is that you wanna do. Like, we have to allow ourselves to dream and be in those spaces that we can. That's part of the mental health, and that's kind of
Yeah.
that's how people feel complete. You know what I mean? You gotta be living your purpose. Like, what is your purpose? Who am I? What can I do? What was I born to do? Because everybody was born to do something, but obviously along the way,
Things discourage you and whatnot.
things
And like you
discourage you,
said,
the
you
plan
need to have
switches.
friends
Yeah,
that can also call you out. You need to have friends that can say, but bro, you're slacking, or you said you were gonna do this. What happened to that? Or how far are you with that? Those plans that you said you had.
yeah,
You need also friends that can encourage you, man. Like that can encourage you to level up and that can hold you accountable.
yeah.
And we need to also create social circles where we come through and we talk about opportunities and we give each other advice and we see how we can help each other and connect each other to the relevant people.
Yeah.
Like it's okay and important to have connections and to know mang mang and whatnot, but you also need to have the type of people in your life that can hold you accountable. And that is, I feel like, one of the most important things. Someone who can tell you, but you said you were gonna do that, you didn't do that. So
Yeah.
sometimes as people, it's like let's move away from having a lot of yes men around ourselves where people will just agree with you.
Yeah.
Someone, I need those type of friends. If for example we're gonna join the gym and we go to the gym, someone who can, hey, but you haven't been to the gym in the past 3 days, or what's happening, or
Yeah.
why are you slacking, or try this or do this. Friends that can also look out for you for your growth, for your
Yeah.
personal development, not just social. Hey guys, let's
Yeah.
go groove. You know,
You
you
can
know.
you can in a way you can also be like a yes man to yourself,
Yeah,
because you don't hold yourself accountable. You know what I mean? It's like somebody who says to their partner, hey baby, I want to lose weight, or I want to stop smoking, or I want to do that, and then you don't do that. So some of that thing is called, you kind of betray yourself. And the more times you betray yourself by not doing what you said you were going to do, you also feel like, I'm a loser. You start to feel also like, hey, I
yeah,
mean, that's why sometimes when you put like this big dream or big goal in front of somebody, they're like, this is not for me, I can never do this, or whatever. They already count themselves out, because they know from their own patterns they don't follow through on what they
yeah,
say they're gonna do. You know what I
yeah.
mean? You said you were gonna lose weight. You said you were gonna
Join the gym
join
or
the gym. You said you're gonna start that business. You said you're gonna take that course. You said you're gonna start your music career. You said you're gonna start that podcast. I mean, like, even for us, we said we're gonna start a podcast, and then time goes by, and then people are like, where's the podcast? You guys spoke about the podcast. So sometimes it's just important to be like, nah, I said I'm gonna do this, so let me just go and do it, so that you kind of build more confidence in yourself.
in
Now you
yourself. Yeah,
you look at yourself different, because you're a person that follows through. So
yeah.
let's do that for ourselves.
Confident people are people who can hold themselves accountable also to the things that they said they're gonna do. Like you said, I mean, if you tell yourself you're gonna do something, do it. Don't give yourself excuses. Don't be, guys. Like how much time we scroll mindlessly on our phones. Like, you also gotta if you and what I love so much about iPhone, it shows you how much time you're spending actually on
On
your
the
phone.
screen time. Yeah.
Screen time. So there's certain things that we gotta cut back on so we can level up. Because if you're on social media all the time, scrolling mindlessly before you sleep or when you wake
TikTok, from
up or whatever,
TikTok to Insta,
it's like,
Insta to
what are you
Facebook.
actually feeding your mind? Sometimes we actually tend to forget that what we feed into our mind and what our mind is constantly seeing and all that stuff is very important, because you need to be able to also see the relevant things, like, so feed your mind positive things, feed your mind reaffirming things. Like you said, I think the major thing with a lot of people is like, hold yourself accountable to what you said you're going to do. Have those promises or those contracts with yourself, because you can have contracts, you can go to Vodacom and sign a contract for a phone, and they tell you for the next 24 months you're going to be paying a certain amount of money, and you agree, but you don't have those contracts within yourself to say, but for the next this many days I'm going to be doing this. And so for me, like, hold yourself accountable and have those contracts within yourself. Like, go write yourself contracts personally to say, this is what I'm going to do to level up and to change. For example, one of the contracts that I have with myself is that I need to at least go to gym 3 to 5 times a week. So it's a contract that I have with myself, and it's something that I have to maintain. So yeah.
So, man, at the end of the day, guys, as I said, also with family, when you do something big, don't really expect your family to be on it like that. And it's not in a bad place. It's not on them, because your mom or your dad or your family is just trying to look out for you in the best way they know how. So if you're trying to do something, don't count your family in like that, because they want to see with you, like, can you do what
How
you say you're
serious
going to
are
do?
you?
Like, yeah, gain momentum on that thing, and then you can start to say, what. But your family and your friends, they are supposed to be like your supporting guide, but you don't really need them to kind of do what you want to do. So start whatever it is you want to do. Focus on your mental health. I think it's very important, the things that you say to yourself. I've heard people say some stuff to themselves, and I'm like, yo, this person is talking nonsense to themselves. You know what I mean? So is this the things that we say to ourselves also that affect how we feel, how you are as a person? You know what I mean? So yeah, so some of those things that are very important to mental health, physical health, whatever, financial health. And with finances, as young people, guys, sometimes we're in a rush. We want to be in that car. We want to be in the club popping. We want to do this. But if it's not your time, it's not your time. Like, take your time, the reason why sometimes you don't have that money is because you need to build that character first, so that when you have that money, you are more, otherwise you just become one of those people, and I blew it. You got this money and you are not mentally ready, and then you mess it up. But yeah.
So I just want to leave you guys with this, and I think the most important thing, if there's anything you should take away from what I said specifically today, is that hold yourself accountable. That is the thing that's gonna help you to level up. Like, hold yourself accountable. Don't lie to yourself. Be honest with yourself, but also hold yourself accountable and push yourself to know that you need to constantly be leveling up. So for you to do that in your life, for you to have more money, better body, better with this and that, it's about holding yourself accountable. So yeah,
and yeah, guys, life is hard, man. Just roll with the punches. Sometimes you gotta just take a punch.
Don't run from challenges. Also, like, face them head on. If this is the specific thing that you're supposed to deal with, take it on the chin. Cry if you have to, a day or two.
Tomorrow siyabangena inside.
How do we get through this? And that's the thing about life. It's like, as much as we always seeing people on social media and you think this person's life is perfect and what, people are going through real challenges.
Yeah, man. So yeah, just stay in the game, guys. Be happy, be confident. We can't always be positive. That's like, it's impossible. There's challenges each and every way of your life, but you also don't want to be that person that walks around like always sad and negative. People must feel sorry for you. Like, yo, buddy, let's get going there. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's not make the challenges break us. Let them make us. Mentally, let's work on the mental first. I think, like, once your mind is strong, everything else can come, like Zwagala, one by one. So be mentally strong, focus on your personal growth, stay in the game. That's all I can say.
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Please do subscribe and all of that stuff.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, so we'll see you guys next week for episode 3. But thank you so much for watching, guys. We hope that you gain some sort of information from what we said today.
Yeah, we are out of here.